Hey guys, welcome back to my channel and welcome to day 4 of 13 days of Booktober. I am loving the series. I'm having so much fun, and today I thought we'd do a little weekend reading in my life. I don't have any plans this weekend, and I thought about doing like a 12-hour or 24-hour readathon, but I thought it would be better to just have like a no time limit attachment to it, but try and just read as many books as I can, given that I don't really have a lot to do this weekend. But I don't want to be restricted to a 12-hour time or a 24-hour time, so we're just going to be reading as much as I can for this weekend. I do have a stack of books that I do want to focus on, and they are a mix of like fantasy, horror, maybe kind of fiction-y based ones, but I think it's a good stack. It might change, but I do think I'm going to be picking from this stack. So the books that I do have on here are Moths by Rosalind Ash. I'm just really excited to get to this one. It's giving like a gothic-y vibe, but making it fiction, because I don't think this is actually like horror or anything like that, but it has like those kinds of suspenseful, eerie vibes. So I think this one's going to be a lot of fun. And it's also a short book. I have another short book, which is Robert Bloch's Pleasant Dreams. This one is a mix of short stories that I think will just be a lot of fun, and it's giving more horror vibes because it is a collection of like 15-ish horror books, so I think this one's going to be a lot of fun to read. Next, I do have an actual horror book that if I do read, I think I want to listen to it with the audio. It's Incidents Around the House by Josh Malerman. I heard the audiobook for this one is actually really good because the story is told in the POV of a little girl, and the audio is also like in the POV of a little girl. I do think it's like an older person voicing the little girl, but I heard that they do it so well that it does actually seem like a little girl's voicing it. So I think this one's going to be a lot of fun. So I might like do like a puzzle or like do some Lego. Okay, so I don't know where I just left off because my SIM card just ran out of storage, but either way, I was talking about Incidents Around the House, and that I think that I wouldn't mind doing this with like a puzzle or like a Lego set or something, just because I really do think the audio is going to make this experience a lot better. So I might do the audio for this one. Next, we have 2 fantasy books. One is The Night and the Moth by Rachel Gillig. I've heard amazing things about this one, and One Dark Window is one of my favorite series. That one is just so vibey, and I'm hoping this one gives off similar vibes. That one gives off like very dark, moody kind of vibes, so I'm hoping that this one gives the same, but I've heard phenomenal things about this one, so I'm really excited to actually get to this. And then the last book I have is Spark of the Everflame by Penn Cole. I've heard a lot of great things about this series. I feel like on TikTok recently I've been seeing a lot of people read it too, but I've had this one on my TBR for quite a bit now, and it's one that I definitely want to get to. It is like a full-fledged series. I think there's like 5 books, give or take, in this series, so I definitely want to see if this is a series I would actually want to invest time in, or if it's just like not for me. I don't know, but this one is on my list because I've been hearing a lot of great things about it recently, so my interest is piqued. But these are the 5 books that I think I'm going to be picking from for this video. I hopefully can get to a good amount of them. Like I said, I don't have anything to do, so I'm just going to be reading. But I think I want to start with one of these 2 books. These have been piquing my interest since I bought them. This one specifically, so I may or may not start with this one. But either way, I will be back with some updates when I start reading a book. So I decided I'm going to start with Moths by Rosalind Ash, but I was like opening the book and I totally forgot that I got this really cute bookmark from the bookstore that I bought it from in Austin. So this is going to be my bookmark for the day. This is so cute. Also, please excuse my plant if you see it in the background. He is not doing too well. He is dying, and me and my boyfriend are trying everything to keep him alive, but he is a tropical plant. He wants humidity, and I live in Chicago, and we're not getting that right now. There's just no humidity. There's just none. So he's a little brown. He's a little brown, but we're going to forget that because one part of him is still thriving. If you could see like this, like one little leaf right here, he's still pushing through. But once he dies, we're going to replace him. I don't know what to do to keep him alive. We have tried changing the soil. We have repotted him. We water him regularly. We even have a mister to mist his leaves. Like, if you guys have any tips, let me know. But just wanted to point him out. I know he's dying. We're trying, but he doesn't want to live. We have other plants that are doing really well, so I don't know. That one's just not doing too good. But Either way, I'm going to start reading Moths. It is currently 10:14. I am starting this a little bit later in the day, but I'm going to start reading Moths, and I will get back to you when I have an update and when I start reading this. I'm really excited to get to this one, so I'm hoping it's a good one. Hey guys, I'm back with a little bit of an update. I am about 10 chapters into Moths, and I will say my first impression is that this is very slowly paced. We are following the story through the perspective of Harry. He is just this guy that is essentially obsessed with this house that our other main couple buys. And we're getting essentially the prologue is like the aftermath, and then the story is like essentially from the beginning where they start touring the house. Harry's just this guy who's obsessed with his house and really wants the house to get sold to somebody who's going to love it and care for it. He meets James and Nemo and immediately like is in love with Nemo and wants her to have the house. And we're seeing him develop this friendship with them, seeing them buy the house, fix up the house. And there's also kind of like this supernatural element to it that the house may have. And it's interesting, but it's just told in such a slow pace that's making it take a while for me to actually get through it. It's still interesting, and I am curious to see where this is going to go, but we are getting that little bit of supernatural element to this. There's like a ghost kind of thing, like the house is giving haunted house vibes. But I wouldn't go so far as to say that this is scary or spooky by any means. This is very much reading more fiction than it is reading like horror. So I'm still kind of early into the book. I still have at least 100 pages to go. But the writing is really great. I really love the descriptions that we're getting. Everything is very picturesque. Like the whole description of the house, around the house, like this house is huge and it's sitting on like acres of land, and just getting like the descriptions of the house and how they're making changes to the house and stuff like that. It's just very interesting, but I don't know. In terms of the story being super gripping and holding, it's falling a little flat. It is taking me a little bit to fully invest. And I feel like right about now is where the story is really picking up. And I'm curious to see where it's going to go from here, because like I said, we're starting to see the house take its toll on the couple that bought it. And I'm curious to see where we're going to go with this, but I'm going to keep reading. And I will be back probably when I finish this. Because it's such a short book, there's not really a whole lot I can say that's not really going to spoil anything, but I will be back with an update when I'm done with this. Okay, I am back with an update. I did finish reading Moths by Rosalind Ash. I will say I think I am going to settle on like a 3-star for this one. It was an interesting read. It was just so slowly paced that I found myself really bored a lot. There were parts that started making me really interested and kept me wanting to read because I wanted to know where we were going to go. But don't go into this thinking that it's going to be a super suspenseful or not scary, but the book isn't scary. It does have elements of suspense and thrillingness, but it's not scary. It's very fictional in the way the story is told. The ending was a little lackluster for me. I felt like it just kind of ends, and the book kind of notes that too, where it's like, yep, sorry, this is how it ends, and no, it's not like this great epic thing, but it's just what happens kind of thing, which was like, for me, because this book does center around a haunting-esque kind of vibe. So I guess I did see this having more of a horror element. Not saying that it's not kind of present, because there is like a ghost that we're following, but it just wasn't as scary as I wanted to be. The story's just very slowly paced, and I just found myself really bored, and it did take me a little bit longer than I think it should have to actually get through this book. So I don't know. It's an interesting read, and I did overall enjoy the experience of it. It just didn't really hit the way I wanted it to or that I was expecting it to, which is a little sad. I do think that this was still interesting and I do think that you should still read it, but in terms of like my overall thoughts on it, I do think it sits around a 3-star, maybe a 3.5, but I think I'm definitely leaning more towards 3. But yeah, so if you read this book, don't be deceived if it actually takes you a lot longer to read. It is less than 200 pages, but it took me so long to get through this because I just was kind of bored, and it just like there were parts where I read a section and it was like I didn't read it, so I had to reread it because I was just so disassociated to what was happening in certain scenes that I just didn't really find myself caring much. So then as I was reading, I was like, wait, what just happened? So then I had to like reread a section. I don't know. But those are my thoughts on Moths. I did start reading Incidents Around the House because I wanted something to kind of like fill the void of what I thought that one was going to give. I had a feeling that one was going to be a little more fictional though, so it's on me for expecting more, I guess. But I wanted to dive into this one because this one's supposed to be kind of like a horror story. So I'm about 50 pages in right now. I'm on chapter 11. And so far, this is very interesting because it is told in the perspective of the little girl. We're essentially following a family and this little girl who sees this, like, I don't know if I want to call it a ghost or like this presence that her parents don't see, and she calls it Other Mommy. And essentially, Other Mommy just keeps asking her if she can go into her heart. And the little girl's thing is that she doesn't want Other Mommy to ask her parents this question. She tries everything to like keep Other Mommy and her parents like separated. I'm still very early in, so I don't know where this is gonna go, but so far it's definitely interesting. The writing structure is so different because it's written tailored to, I guess, how like a kid would kind of write something. So I don't know, it's definitely interesting, but so far it's going. I'm only 50 pages in though, so I don't have too much of an opinion yet, but so far those are just my updates. I finished Moths and now I'm reading Incidents Around the House. So I'm gonna keep reading this. I think I wanna switch it up a little bit though. I just got the audiobook on Libby, which was like perfect timing because I was actually going to listen to it on my Spotify, but the audiobook just came in for me. So I think I'm going to listen to that while I work on a puzzle or Legos or something like that, because I kind of want to do something instead of just sitting and read. I kind of want to do something with my hands. So I don't know. We'll see. But I will be back with an update when I get further into this one.
Darkest is recording.
I'm going to put this in the video.
Yeah.
This is Josh. Say hi, Josh.
What up?
Hey guys, it is now the next day. It is now Sunday. I did end up finishing this book this morning. I didn't have time to finish it yesterday because I was doing something with my mom. But as you guys saw yesterday, I was able to build this as I was listening to the audiobook, and I'm obsessed with it. It came out so cute, and this did not take very long to do at all. So it was a nice little distraction for me to do something while listening to my book. But I did finish this one this morning, and I will say I think I'm about to settle on a 4-star for this one. I think it really delivered on the spooky aspect that I was going for. It has like a haunted house vibe, but without it being like a haunted house, because we are dealing more with like a supernatural that's not necessarily tethered to a house specifically, but being in the perspective of a kid was really a fun element because the kid doesn't give you a lot of dialogue. She just says what's in her mind. She says what's being said, and that's kind of it. So it reads really fast. I will say there are not a lot of likable people in this book, like especially the parents. I found myself very irritated with especially the mother. Did not really like her. And I don't think the mother likes herself either. So I think it fits the narrative that's being told. But this book was honestly just really crazy. I definitely recommend for October, and the audiobook. The audiobook does sound like it's being read to you by a little girl, which I think just added like an element of spook that really hit for this book specifically. But I definitely recommend for October, I definitely recommend the audiobook. But this one was a lot of fun. I had a really good time with it. I will say there was a part towards the end that I just kind of got a little bit bored with, because given everything that we were going through in the book, it just almost felt out of place, like, but it wasn't out of place because there was a reason they were doing it. I don't know. It was just a little bit weird, but overall, it gave me the scary story that I was looking for when I was reading Moths, and I had a good time. So this was a 4-star. I really enjoyed this, and I would definitely recommend. But the next book I think I'm going to pick up is The Night and the Moth by Rachel Gillig. I've read 2 kind of scary stories back to back, so I kind of want to switch it up with like a little fantasy, and I've heard a lot of really good things about this one, so I'm very excited to get to it. I also really love her One Dark Window series, so I think this is going to be the perfect like dark academia gothic-y vibe. So this is the book I'm going to start next, and I will probably be back with some updates when I get a good amount into this. Hey guys, I'm back with a quick little update. So I am about 10 chapters into Night and the Moth, which is like about 115 pages in. And so far, I am honestly really enjoying this. I haven't read a fantasy book in so long, and this is exactly what I was in the mood for. So this is really scratching an itch for me right now, because I'm eating this up. So this storyline is following Sybil. She is a diviner, and there are 6 diviners. The diviners essentially go into this dreamlike state and come across 6 figures that are omens, which can be good or bad, and can essentially predict whether or not someone is in good favor or in bad favor. The diviners essentially are approaching the end of their tenure. I think they only have 10 years where they fulfill their role of diviners, and then they believe that they're going to be going out back into the world after their service is done. But her sister diviners end up going missing, and she's the last one left, and she decides that she's going to go out into the world and find what happened to them. And she tags along with this knight whose name is Rory, and their tension is so good so far. I'm loving their tension, their dynamic. Like, it's very enemies to lovers kind of vibe, and it's feeding, but it's also with just like a little bit of humoresque. Like, Rory's very funny kind of guy, but they're butting heads, and it's just such good banter, such good tension, and I'm loving it. And we get to see different sprites in this, which are really interesting. I'm absolutely loving the role that they play here, and one of them in particular, I'm obsessed with him, and I want and need more of him. But so far, I'm loving this. I haven't read a fantasy in so long, and this one's making me so happy. I'm so glad I picked this one up, because it is exactly what I wanted right now, and I'm loving this. Rachel Gillig's writing is just so good. The atmosphere, the vibes are given dark academia, which I absolutely love, especially in fantasy books. So definitely recommend if you're a dark academia lover. Like, this is feeding that. But this is good so far. I feel like this is going to be rated pretty high depending on how it turns out, but I am still in the early stages, so I'm not halfway through it yet. So who knows how this is going to turn out, but so far I'm having a really good time with this, and I'm going to keep reading. Hopefully this keeps hitting the way it's going to hit, but I'll be back with some updates either when I get halfway through or if I finish it, because honestly, I don't want to put this down because I'm enjoying it so much. So I'll be back with some updates when I have them. Hey guys, I am back with our final update for this video. I finished reading Rachel Gillig's The Night and the Moth. I really enjoyed this, and I'm so glad I decided to pick this up, because this was honestly exactly what I wanted, and I didn't even realize it. Rachel Gillig just knows how to put together a story in such a way that, one, keeps you hooked throughout the entire story, but is written so well. And it's also kind of different, and the magic systems that she introduces are always just so fun and not something you see all the time. So I genuinely enjoyed this so much. I really liked our main character. Seeing her character develop throughout the story was really great. I think this one did end up being a little predictable at the end. I don't want to spoil anything, but let's just say that there were people that I didn't trust that I was proven right at the end, and I was like, I'm a little upset, but it's okay, it's fine. I'm very excited for the next book in the series though, because the way this ends, I need it immediately, and this just came out. So I hope it doesn't take very long for the next book to come out, but the magic system was fun. Some of the side characters that we get were just so good. I absolutely loved the gargoyle that we get in this. I loved him. He was so great. He carried the story for me. Like, just his character was just so great. I loved him. So this overall was really great. I think I'm settling on a 4-star for this. I'm not sure if I want to go higher because I did really enjoy it, but I don't think anything about this was like 5-star worthy. So I could see me bumping it up to maybe a 4.25. But I think I'm gonna stick with a 4-star. I really did enjoy this. I think this is like a really great, fun, fast-paced fantasy that's also not very long. I think it's a little under 400 pages, which is really not that long for a fantasy book. So I do think this one's a good one to pick up if you just want a fantasy book that's gonna give you gothic-y, dark academia vibes, but it's not going to take you a long time to get into it, because I don't think the world building or the magic system that we're introduced to is that intense or dense where you're not going to really understand it right away. I do think the book did a really good job at explaining what the omens are, how they started, and everything like that. Like, I don't think anything about this was too difficult or complicated to understand. So overall, highly recommend this one. This one was really good, a lot of fun, and Rachel Gillig is very much becoming one of my favorite fantasy authors, because One Dark Window ate that series up, and now this one is really good too. But I am very excited for the next book in this series, because I have a feeling that one's going to be a lot of fun. I also really enjoyed the romance we get into this one. I really liked Rory's character. I love their dynamic together. I love them. They were just so much fun to read about. So I was rooting for them, and I am very interested to see how their relationship is going to develop in the second book. But really thoroughly enjoyed this one. And that was the last book that I'm going to pick up today. It is 8:51, so I just figured, why start a book when I know I'm not going to be able to finish one? So we were able to get through 3 books in this little weekend reading blog. So I was able to knock off 3 books on my fall TBR. The first book I read was Moths by Rosalind Ash. This one was 3 stars. I just didn't really love the pacing of it. I felt like it took a while to build up to anything that was really exciting. And then when we finally got to the exciting parts, it was kind of just like really dragged out, especially for it being a really short book. I was expecting this to be a little faster paced because we're not really working with a lot of time. But for me, this one just fell a little bit flat. I was expecting just a little bit more. There is a little bit of suspenseful thrillingness in this, given that we are dealing with like a little bit of supernatural elements, but I would not say that this is scary by any means. I would recommend if you like a fictional horror vibey book, because this was still really interesting and I did enjoy it for the most part. I just wish the pacing was a little bit fast, because it did take me a really long time to get through this, given that it's a really short book. The next book I read was Incidents Around the House by Josh Malerman. This one I honestly really enjoyed. I loved being in the little girl's POV and getting the story through her eyes. This was so much fun. It's definitely spooky if you read it at night. At least I got spooked from it. So definitely recommend for October if you're looking for a spooky haunted house, paranormal kind of vibe. This one was really good. I enjoyed it. This one was 4 stars. And then lastly, we ended with Rachel Gillig's The Night and the Moth. 4 stars. I really enjoyed this and I'm very excited for the next one. But these are the 3 books I read for this vlog. I really enjoyed them all for the most part, so I think this was successful. I was able to read 3 books from my fall TBR and get some good reading in this weekend where I didn't really have a whole lot going on. I did end up being a little bit busier than I thought, so getting through 3 books was actually not too bad. But that is it for today's video. If you guys have read any of these books, I would love to know what your thoughts are. As always, I do hope you guys enjoyed this video. My links are down below if you want to follow me on Instagram or TikTok or Goodreads. I do post there regularly, so I would love it if you guys join me there. I hope you guys are enjoying this series. series. This was day 4. I'm having so much fun with it, and I hope you guys are too. But I hope you guys enjoyed, and I hope to see you guys tomorrow. Bye!